Sup, everybody? This is Karak with ACG, and I'm here with David Bateson, who is Agent 47.
This is Agent 47.
Yeah, the most prominent voice actor in my book. Even though he's only in this one game, it is one of the best games of the last year, at least in my book. And so he was nice enough to accept our invitation to discuss voice acting and discuss what it's like being Agent 47. I'm sure I sent him some questions beforehand. I don't know if you got to see him, David, but one of the last questions I asked is about the Transporter movie. Did you see that?
No, with Jason.
Jason Statham, yeah. So I always ask my patrons to give me questions. I'm going to interview David. What questions do you want to ask? And I'm not lying. The number one question was, when Jason Statham showed up in the Transporter, did David notice right away the similarities like everyone else did? And it's so true. It's so true. So we're going to talk about everything in this. We're just going to talk about his history, about everything that he does as a voice actor, and hopefully he'll give us some cool tidbits about what it's like being the best hitman in games. So you started acting in your teens, which I had heard in another interview, to pay for college, right?
Yeah, I was just. I had a scholarship to put me through the worst part, but I just needed some extra cash, so I went down to the local radio station, and just asked if I could, come in and audition. And they did. This is in South Africa back in the late 70s or early 80s, something like that. And they didn't even have. They just had a bit of TV, so there was radio was big.
Oh, right.
So that's what they were always looking for, new voices. So yeah, did an audition and was playing the Juve leads and endless radio players, which is a lot of fun because it's all. One of the things I like about it was that you were all around the same mic. With voice acting now, I'm alone in a room going, trying to have a conversation with a crowd of people or dying, and I'm alone. That was fun to kind of, stand there and act across each other on the same mic. That was fun.
Well, you do music, you do movies still. Do you find the two? Do you find games a little less interactive because of how you're doing the recording? Do you find it a little less, I guess, enjoyable for you yourself?
Yeah, yes and no, because as I've said in other times, I really like to be in my own little world and voice act, So I'm quite happy to just close my eyes and get into the spirit of things. But of course, I like to act across people, whether it's on stage or on film. There's a high there, both in front of the camera and also just hanging out together. What I do have is a kind of, to compensate for that, is a real cool bunch of writers and people who direct me from IO Interactive. So, and they're in the room with me. So there's a lot of ping pong backwards and forwards from them, because we now know each other really well. So they can say, nah, I didn't believe that line. Do it again. Okay, what do you mean? So luckily they cut all the crap out, but there's some pretty good outtakes there somewhere lying around.
Well, you started. I had read before that you were the way you got Hitman was sort of impromptu. Can you give a little bit of a background on how you got the job originally?
Yeah, when people ask me, hey, how do I get into voiceovers? You think you just
luck.
You got to be in the right place at the right time. It sucks to hear that. But often is the case. Actually, the bottom line is you need someone else to give you a break.
Right.
And I've read that from sort of great actors like John Gielgud and Laurence Olivier, Peter Ustinov, Peter O'Toole, Richard Harris, who's the Welsh actor? Not Anthony Hopkins, another one. Anyway, but they've all in their interviews or in their biographies have said, someone somewhere along the gang gave me a fucking break, because I just can't resist that, because you can bang your head against the wall but anyway, it lucked out. I was in a studio doing a voiceover. A company did a lot of they designed home pages and graphics for big companies, and they were in the process of doing some graphics work and sound design on Hitman, and the designers had simply asked this studio, "Hey, listen, do you know anyone who could do this? Give it a crack." Because bear in mind, I'm living in Denmark, as it was also back then, and maybe there wasn't even many English-speaking actors around, but they didn't know of any. So when they asked him, he said, "Yeah, funny enough, we got a guy. He's coming in the next couple of days." So when I was in the studio, they said, "Do you want to do it?" And I went, "Well, let's have a look." And I was a bit hesitant. 16 years ago in gaming is like a millennium ago.
Right.
So you're just kind of going, what am I letting myself in for? But the second I saw just the screenshot, I went, oh, I want a piece of this. It was just so dark and moody and just very film noir. It just had so much atmosphere in it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't, without even knowing what the script was going to be like, I said, yes, definitely, I want to do this.
Was it like looking in a mirror, though? Because, it's so funny because, dude, seriously, we all joke about this, but it's like I know a lot of voice actors where they purposely will take the character and make them look like a voice actor. But, dude, somebody had to have been like, whoa, Hitman just walked by the studio.
Well, he definitely looks more like me now than he used to. He's always had that look. I'm bold, he's bold. But there's more in it than that. And I think what started out as a kind of an urban myth is actually true. That they did use my face to moderate it, and only as recent as last year, 2016, they did some performance capture work when I sort of they put me in a helmet with a little kind of GoPro
dots
thing
all over your face and
I just got my mouth and my eyes. So from halfway through the game, it really is me.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
I want to go to the Colorado. I think it starts in Colorado or Hokkaido. I haven't done those levels yet. Yeah, so don't tell me how it ends.
I won't. I'll make sure that I don't, because I was actually going to mention one thing, but I will not do that.
You can mention other levels. I've done everything else, but just the last two. So that's where I want to just kind of look, see if I can see it in some of the close-ups and go,
for sure.
Holy shit, that's my eyes. Those eyes. That's how it.
Right. Yeah. No. It's amazing. Like the similarity is there, and certainly in this new game, technology, right? It's so advanced now that. What had happened, I know that I've heard you say when you first saw Hitman, and you sort of alluded to it here, just how amazing it looked. But now when you look at Hitman 2016, you're just like, damn.
I just want to be in these places.
Right.
Just going, come on, take me there. Paris is looking as good as it ever got. Italy, Sapienza, that just blew my socks off. When we'll come to with some maybe with your questions, but I do have my favorite places and favorite games, but it just gets better.
Is it still St. Petersburg?
Yeah.
Let's discuss level questions.
Yeah. The snow always just does me in.
So me too. That's crazy.
You got it coming down there in buckets, but. Actually, it hasn't been snowing in Scandinavia. I don't know what the hell. But no, it's the big granite streets and the wide boulevards. It just looks so. It spooks the shit out of me. And but no, I think my favorite now is Italy, is Sapienza.
Gotcha.
Sapienza.
Yeah,
I've gone all warm and kind of tropical, as I've matured.
Exactly. It's good for the joints, David. It's good for the joints.
Thanks,
you're always really positive. One of the things that multiple people have actually said is that you're always super positive, especially towards like fans. Now, I'm not saying that a lot of voice actors aren't, but I've always noticed that with you. Why would you say? I've heard you say that you were really happy about how respectful they are towards the character and stuff like that. What do you notice? Like you go to a convention and stuff like that, like that respect that you get. Why do you think that is, especially for this particular character? What do you think resonates for fans of Hitman?
Well, I'd like, I'm being really sounding weird now. I'd like to think it was something to do with something I was doing. But I also realized the reality of any game is the gameplay and the design of it. That's where you spend most of your time. But I mean, I think the character there's a kind of which is it's a little weird in a way. This guy kills people for a living, but there is a tremendous affection or respect for Agent 47 as a real human being.
Right.
And I go there. I like that because that's how I see him. I would not be able to do something which was not believable for Agent 47. I mean, you can goof off something and I don't know, do something stupid, but if somehow they thought, hey, we've got this really good idea, let's take him to a cruise ship. Yeah, let's just kill people on a cruise ship. I'm going, I don't know if he wouldn't fit in, I mean.
It'd look a little odd.
Don't do that to the guy. What's he going to push people in the swimming pool? Although actually, funny I mentioned the cruise ship. It was on my mind, but that was just me tripping out. But no, it would be weird. There's a respect for this character, which has gone on for 16 years, and I just wouldn't do anything to mess with him. I'm glad I'm his friend, or that I know him. That I'm this guy. I wouldn't want to be enemies with.
Right.
I'd always buy him a drink.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the one thing about Agent 47 is I don't think anybody be his enemy for very long. Probably wouldn't be around. So was the business look, when you first started with Hitman, the original, was that look already, like when you saw that first picture, was his look, the suit, the tie, the red tie, was that all already done? Or...
it was pretty much a done deal right from day one. I mean, I think his tie maybe has changed a little bit, or his suits have got a little tighter.
They have. He's a little bit more.
Yeah, he's majorly buffed. Actually, I did a gig on Saturday, Friday and Saturday last week in Copenhagen, where the Danish national TV station they have their own symphony orchestra, and they were playing Hitman's theme music, Jesper Kid's music from Silent Assassin, and they had the whole program was computer games, so they're doing the soundtracks from all these computer games, opera singers and full chorus. It was a big deal, and the place was packed. You just, they had 1,000 people on the waiting list. I mean,
oh wow!
But I wasn't on the program, but I was coming on as a surprise guest, as this encore guest, thinking, well, everyone now, that was thanks, great evening, but just think of a number, the conferencier said to the audience, and they didn't quite get it at first, and then someone said 7, and they went, close, and then they went, 47, and obviously I looked at my suits and I went, I gotta go and get another suit because this is not tight enough.
Yeah, exactly.
So I came out looking as cool as I could possibly be in my Hitman tie and suit. And looking at the footage of it afterwards, they sent me a podcast, and I'm going, shit, man. I mean, damn it. I'm a few years older, but I still look like the guy. So yeah, he's not changed. Same guy, and I'm glad they haven't done that. I'm glad they haven't done things like, let's give him a waistcoat. Let's make him more distinguished. How about a cravat? No. So they stuck with it. I'm glad.
Well, I think, I'm sure you'd probably agree that it is fairly timeless and especially their levels. Like I've gone back and played some of the older titles, and they still play very well. Like it's not like a lot of other games where you return and the gameplay has sort of failed over time.
Yeah. You know what? I'm funny you should say that. I had to go at, funny talking about Silent Assassin, last week. Yeah, and I had to sort of dust off my PlayStation 2, and, and I was quite surprised. I mean, it wasn't. It didn't look like a sort of a historical document,
right?
And the speed with which technology is moving, I'd expected it to. I was just curious. I just had a look at it. I didn't play much of it. I just wanted to see where we've come from.
Go back in history.
Yeah, I mean, it's infinitely better now, but it stayed kind of cool. It's like good vintage wine.
Yeah, well, I think they've done a really good job of making sure that, like you said, they don't go overboard and completely change. I mean, Hitman is sort of known for a particular thing, and they nail that well.
Yeah, don't screw it up. As I say, sometimes you kind of think, okay, IO Interactive is owned by Square Enix now, and so maybe their boss is going, hey, we need him to go and
ride a jet ski and Triple X kind of Vin Diesel moment.
Some dumbass sport or something. And don't do that.
When you're doing, especially when you first started to now, has anything really changed with your handling of Agent 47? Do you go back and listen to, like, let's say Hitman 1 and go, oh, I had a different, like a little bit of a speech difference here?
Well, no, because like all human beings, we grow and we change. I know he kind of goes, Absolution, he got a little bit older, and then he got he got younger.
Yeah.
Can't do much about that. But no, he's that's a complex question, actually, because some of that is down to the script writing,
sure,
and the way we approach the dialogue now as we did I mean, we were done in a 3-hour session back in 2000,
right.
Done, let's go home, open a beer. And now, well, I mean, now you can't even compare it. It took me like 8 months because we're doing it with the episodic release. But I mean, even Absolution took a good month.
Oh, wow.
With 4 or 5 sittings of, I think, like 4 hours, 3-4 hours at least. So, yeah, that's right. There was 4 sittings with like up to 4 hours, and then 1 pickup session, which maybe was 2 to 3 hours, something like that. But I'm saying that's a lot of dialogue even then. It's a lot of to and fro, and everyone's in the same room and stuff. But this last one was like going on location to do a whole blockbuster for 6 months in the desert or something.
Right.
It was a big deal. So no, it's evolved naturally, but no, it's not it's more subtle now, I suppose.
I see. It's funny because, like, when you're looking at these titles and you're looking at the spread of years, we haven't seen a huge amount of change, like we just said. But it is funny that when it comes to graphics technology, they've made they've done these amazing things. Paris, for example, just was spectacular. Like, when I turned on Paris, I've done a couple videos of it, and I was like, what is going? Like, this is amazing. The crowds. But you've talked about you've talked about how voice acting has changed for you in particular. In one of your interviews, you said more people entered the room, and you alluded to that a little bit earlier, where you said more people are in the room. So I'm assuming what you mean when, like, technology really hasn't changed for recording or what you're doing, but more people care, basically. Is that what you meant when you said that?
More people care, but it's literally more people are physically in the room. I mean, I'd be alone with a microphone in that first one, or second, Codename 47 and Silent Assassin. And then there would be, hey, the studio's not big enough. We'll get a bigger studio, and then we'll bring in 3 or 4 people. What? Yeah. And we're all going to come with suggestions. There'll be a writer there, the head of the design, and there'll be directors and 2 writers, in fact. And that process is increased. And that's what I'm saying. I don't feel lonely anymore, because I'm in a room with some guys who I totally respect and who I now know, and pretty well after these years.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, in a way, it is recording, and we're all very, very focused, but it's somehow, just because we're all getting money for it, it's still like a bunch of guys in a room just shooting the shit.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of love in the room for Agent 47, So we all want to do him as best as we can. So from going from the the original idea of when I saw him, I thought, hey, this is film noir. Oh, this is kind of like sort of Philip Marlowe. It's just sort of, I opened the door and I said, it's kind of flat and two-dimensional. It's now, we're whispering and I'm walking up and down and they get a bit of suit action and the close to the mic. It's a 3-course meal compared to a snack.
When you do those, do you have any particular time in your memory where you remember you saying a line that maybe nobody scripted or some improvisation, and you're like, "Holy shit, this got into the game"? Like, is there?
Good question. I have no. I need to play them more because there's a lot of stuff that comes there. They've done their homework and they've rewritten them and done rewrites, and there are at least 2 writers in the room, so they know how they want it to sound. They've heard the sound in their own heads for months sometimes, and I just come. So I kind of go, okay, I'll ask, okay, all I need to know is what happens up to this point. I don't actually need to know what's going to happen afterwards. So that's the practical side out of the way. And then I'll give it a shot. We've now kind of found a routine, which seems to work, where I do the line 3 times. And very irritatingly, it's the 3rd one they use. So if I could just skip to the 3rd one,
exactly,
we'll be done. And I can just feel it. I go, that's the line, that's the way. That sounds right. And then they will say, that. Occasionally, though, when I do something spontaneous or off script, they look at each other, and because I've suddenly thrown something into the mix. I went, wait a minute, that's not bad. Now, I wish I had Total Recall so I could find out which one. I mean, I should bloody get my own bloody GoPro and think, what's the...
You should, yeah.
Because I know some of those lines are in there. So, but I can't tell you where. The guys, they know what they want.
They know what they want, yeah. When doing that, do you find it difficult, especially now here with this Hitman title and how long you had, how much more voice acting there was? Yeah. Do you have to do anything physical? A lot of people that watch the channel will ask something like, "Does a voice act? I mean, do you find yourself not talking all day afterwards because you hurt? Like, what's the physical? Luckily, you don't have to do a lot of voices, like changing it. But do you have to do anything particular before?
Yeah, I always try and kill someone before coming.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get them, because if you walk in with the blood on your hands, you're the character.
It gets me in the mood.
Exactly. You're ready.
What they do with the bodies, I don't know. But no, I'm kind of just there. I think it's definitely got easier, but in the sense that I know this man. So really, I would spot it a mile away if they. And the thing is, the writers know it too. So there's 3 or 4 people in the room who are second guessing every move and everything that this man says and does. So it's really hard to do something which Agent 47 wouldn't do. Yeah. So no. In terms of preparation, apart from killing someone, no. I just turn up and off we go.
I have to say, it's actually pretty enlightening, especially talking to some voice actors. There's particular issues politically right now, but there's also just issues with, voice acting maybe not being as fun. One person I know left the games industry after doing voice acting for Sega. They were making a game for Sega, and they were very unhappy with the entire situation. It's so enlightening to hear somebody like yourself just being like, I love it, and we all are just shooting the shit, because I think sometimes you get this idea of like, it must just be hell. And I'm not saying that there aren't days where it is difficult for whatever reason, but it's so nice to hear you guys sounding more like a family of, it's like you're all Agent 47's parents.
In a way we are. And I mean, I really feel for the strike and the way things are going down. Because, I think it goes without saying. I mean, agent, just practically speaking, probably why I don't need to do anything physically to prepare for Agent 47 is because he's kind of quiet.
True.
But I have the hugest respect for the voice actors all over the world. But I'm thinking now in particular, because I know there's a lot of that in Greater Los Angeles or in Hollywood for that matter, but many places where they're having to scream and shout for 3-hour sessions with a glass of water.
Yeah.
And,
in other places that would be considered torture.
Yeah, I mean, although I will say my biggest client who I just lost, they used to put me through it. And I remember last year I did a session which lasted 5 hours.
Oh, gotcha. And
they changed out the technician, they changed out the producer, they changed out the 2 people who I did a live Skype link up. They, from the name of the company, we will remain nameless.
Yeah.
But no one changed me out. And I stood there and I yelled and did my thing for this toy product. And then, luckily I got a good, strong voice and know to use it in the right way. But that's kind of everyday work for a lot of actors out there, voice actors. And that is seriously bad shit to be put through.
Yeah.
Without being really compensated for it. And better protection.
An actor, John Leguizamo, did a movie Spawn, and he did a character which was a clown, and he talked about how it ruined his voice for almost 6 months afterwards, where he had been doing 8 hours a day for many, many days. And of course it's a movie, so you understand that, where multiple takes, and this director continued to ask him to do takes, and he writes about it in his book, where he was just like, it destroyed him. It's good to hear that you guys have that overall feeling in your studio, and it's definitely something that I think, when people watch a channel, they should remember that there are good times as well.
Yeah. When I support totally the strike for better conditions, because it shouldn't be like that. Just not on.
When you're traveling do you do a lot of I know you do shows for sure. Do you do a lot of other kinds of travel? Like, I don't know if the game opens different times internationally, but do you do a lot of travel for PR for the title?
Not enough. I'd love to do more. Which is probably why I've got Greg on the case.
Yeah.
My PR guy. Yeah. But he, I think it was him. He convinced IO and Square Enix to bring me on board for EGX in Birmingham, England, in September
2015, I think.
15, yeah. Now, and that was a big eye opener for everyone.
Because of the reaction, David. Because of
the reaction, it was insane. It was give you just one example.
For sure.
We did a sign and meet and greet thing, which they put aside half an hour. Well, I think it was 4:30 to 5 o'clock, towards the end of the day, and the whole thing was going to close down at 6.
Uh-huh.
At our stand, where we had a kind of little movie theater behind us, and they'd done development sessions all day long. And they closed that down. We were finished at 7:45 in the evening.
Oh, wow.
Because the crowds just kept coming and coming and coming. And no one had the heart to go, okay, that's it.
Right, yeah.
Because there'd probably be a riot. No, I don't know. No, but I thought it was really big of the organizers to say, listen, your stand's in the corner of this building. We've locked down the rest of the building. Turn the lights off when you go, almost. Of course they had security there, and we just kept going until the last fan was signed and chatted to and got the selfie. Sorry about that.
Oh no, okay.
And Manchester United 0-0 against Hull City.
Oh, right.
So, damn. that's just an example. There's a part of me thinking, guys, just so you know, I'm on your side. I'm not going to come with unrealistic demands after being, wined and dined like this. It was, the 4 days or 3 days we were there, it was insane. I couldn't move around. So yeah, I'd love to do more of it and just help promote the game and just meet fans. I just loved it. I mean, I was high for a week, just not because of my own ego, just because of the energy and the whole trip. So yeah, more of that, please. Bring it on.
Well, yeah, I mean, we do see it with some actors. I think particular voice actors are very popular, so they probably go to some of these events. But it is crazy to me that we don't see you at multiple events. And it'll be even more crazy if we don't see you this next year, especially with, like everything that's going on in Hitman. It's an incredibly, it's so strange because I don't know if you were, watched what was happening prior to its release, but a lot of people were very unhappy about the episodic, and they were very worried that Square Enix was not going to deliver in the long run. It was going to, and instead it's been a full, let's see, when did the first episode come out?
March 11th.
Gotcha. So almost a year of content from that. And then now the physical release, it's absolutely exploded. So hopefully we'll get to see you like at some more events, definitely as this rolls out. And
it could definitely be on the cards because, it was a gamble. I only found out, just so you know, at the EGX, and I went, what? It's episodic? Whose idea was that? And there wasn't a lot of nervousness from people I talked to, and also a kind of skepticism from other companies, AAA companies were getting titles going, it's not going to work. The fans will go, they won't go. But secretly, I know that they've been watching from the sidelines, and I know there's still some mixed feelings about it, but I think genuinely it's created a much bigger relationship and fan base because we've stayed loyal to Agent 47. It's one big story, but it all you have these fantastic independent episodes,
right?
And IO Interactive and Square Enix, for that matter, are in a better position to genuinely listen to the fans and react on the fly.
Right.
So, okay, you didn't like that? Do you want some more open sandbox? Okay.
Do you want to hunt down Gary Busey?
Yes, go there. Yeah, I mean, seriously.
It's awesome.
It's put more pressure on them. We could have all been on a beach earning 20%.
Right.
But I think it's proved a success. I really do.
It's funny you mention it. I'm super happy to hear you mention it. That you believe it puts them in a position to listen to gamers because it not only does. I've dealt with the PR when the episodes were being released and they were contacting us and saying, "Do you want to cover the game?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then they were explaining what the developer was looking at behind the scenes, and it was and when it comes to metrics like how many people did this, how many people do that, and it's that quick turnaround iteration of fan feedback that has blown me away with this series this year.
Yeah, it really. I mean, they do listen to the fans even when they're in previous titles, but because there's such a long, gap between the next, because you got to start from scratch or technology.
New generation of consoles, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this is really exciting. And now they have all this experience. Now they can, as you say, ask you guys. So this is the metrics where people went this way and they did that. And, they kind of come back from the Hitman forum and what do they like? What don't they like? Or what do they want more of? Okay. And boom, it may not be there maybe in the very next level, but it'll be in the one after that.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that the second episode was the best. I think most people in this, is it Esperanza? How do you pronounce it?
Espanza.
Espanza, yeah. I think that really showed that they were listening, and that when that thing came out, man, it was fantastic. But that sort of brings me to this question: do you know what each episode is going to have after it, or are you pretty much kept out? Like, are they like Agent 47 will dress as a woman next episode, or do you not know anything and you're like, I'm done.
No,
I have no clue.
I am. No, I know nothing, and it's probably to protect myself as much as
right. Yeah,
I have a disclaimer contract. It's like a small book, But not that I would go and go, hey, this is what's going to happen,
right?
But no, because things. I mean, they do have a whole, They know what they're doing in terms of storyline, and they're scripting and they're having rewrites and so on. But they're still listening. They're still adjusting, and it is on the one hand, it's frustrating not knowing.
Right.
On the other hand, I like the journey.
Right. Yeah.
I like thinking, I can't wait. Oh, in 6 weeks' time, I'll be back in the studio. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Where are we going? We're going to Bangkok. Oh, brilliant.
Right.
But no, they weren't. They kind of you don't need to know, and I like that.
Yeah, no, I can see why you would. When doing this, so you basically go by episode. Is that how you do your voice acting? So you show up and then as each episode comes, you show back up and do more.
Yeah, I mean, then there'll be some pickups, maybe on the previous before it's even come out.
What's a pickup, David?
A pickup is some dialogue stuff which didn't work, or they rewrote a sequence. Because it no longer fitted with the storyline, maybe because the storyline slightly changed with the way they look at it. I mean, in the old days, I used to kind of get a chance to look at some graphics or, and see. I don't think I've ever had a look at a storyboard. I can't remember, to be honest. It's been such a long time. Yeah. But what I was saying earlier was that all I need to know is what's happened before. So I go into the dialogue as fresh as I can possibly be. Mm-hmm. I don't need to know what comes after the scene. I do ask sometimes, but out of sheer curiosity. But I only need to know what comes afterwards if it's some kind of a flashback thing.
I wonder if that helps you too, because you don't go into it with any preconceived notions of the situation that'll happen. And because Agent 47 is known as fairly dry in his delivery, you don't have the weird vocal, changes if you know that this means he's in deep shit or something.
Yeah, because you can telegraph stuff. You're thinking you're helping the situation. Like, the fans, I need to let them know, the fans, that I'm going to be all right. So I'm not bleeding out now.
Yeah. I'll be okay.
I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And they're kind of going, no, David, you might die. No, I mean, there's not with Agent 47, but like with Diana, in our position, they wouldn't tell me. Okay, you bastard.
Speaking of that, and this is a question you don't have to answer, I can remove it. I didn't get to put it on the list. Have you met the voice actor for Diana?
No. Well, for many years, it was my theater boss in Copenhagen.
Wait, who was the voice for
Diana?
Wow, I did not know that.
He was like a close personal friend and my theater boss. So I did this annual Christmas show. It's nothing to do with Christmas. It just happens in the
winter season,
October to January. Mm-hmm. So that was always fun. And I remember she used to taking the piss out of me, saying, "Wait a minute. You're getting all the attention, but I'm the one doing all the talking."
She's right, David.
Go to this room and do so and kill that bastard. And I'm going, okay. And she goes, it's not fair. You're getting all the attention. And I'm just going, suck it up. But no, it's not her anymore. And so, no, sadly, I didn't get to meet my Diana.
Yeah, it's one of the things when I talk to voice actors that they say a lot of times is, the inability to meet the other person sometimes does affect them a little bit. I did a cartoon film,
Help, I'm a Fish, way back, like in 2001, 2002, something like that. And one of my favorite actors of all time, who sadly passed away last year, Alan Rickman, grew up from the Die Hard films.
Yep.
For the first Die Hard. And I just loved that actor. I just loved everything he's ever done. I mean, he was cool. He was Agent 47 for me, in his delivery. It was just like, oh man, run, and we played opposite each other. And I got to do some great dialogue with him, but I never saw him, and I never even recorded. And he got my script. He got my voice in his ear. But I think, we played together. We were sidekicks, but no, never met him, never recorded with him. So, sometimes it can be, more often than not, it is a lonely experience.
It's funny because you mentioned actors and strange that's strange that you don't get to at least see them. I don't know if you had heard, but Ricardo Montalban and William Shatner never met for Wrath of Khan. Yeah, it was a woman. It was a woman it was a woman going like, I will kill you, Captain Kirk, or whatever. And William Shatner, who I know a lot of people don't think is the best actor in the world, he did a pretty good job for responding to basically the set, one of the set providers there, who was pretending to be Khan with his shaved chest. It happens a lot. It happens a lot with voice actors that I talk to who say that it's a very solitary job, but it doesn't appear so like when the game comes out. Because when the game comes out and I hear Deanna and you talking, my brain is telling me, like, you guys go out for drinks, at the end of your recording session and stuff like that. But it can be one of those jobs where I think a lot of people don't really realize that it can be a little isolating. Go ahead.
So just to finish up on that subject, I think it's getting more like that. Although I like it,
Skype.
It's getting more like that with some movies. I mean, I'm blown away. I loved Rogue One. But I know that a lot of those people had a really boring time in a green screen studio. Okay? Watch out, get down. And that's the. I mean, I remember in an interview with Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson when they did their Star Wars, and they were kind of going, "Oh, never again."
Yeah,
I've just been bored out of my ass for 3 months.
I'm pretty sure I saw the same interview because didn't Ewan actually say that George Lucas had put a sock on the end of a stick? I think, which that Jar Jar was. Yeah, that's what it was. For a while, Jar Jar was like a stick and a sock, and Ewan's like, dude, it's just not the same.
Come on, help me out here,
Yeah.
Yeah. I love all the effects that we were able to have now, but I know the practicality of it can be pretty much hard work. Because you're running around in tights.
Earlier, you had said that you like to sort of close your eyes, and when you're doing Agent 47, just sort of close your eyes and all that. Do you ever find yourself? Well, no, I don't want this to sound like you're unprofessional, but I was going to say, do you find yourself daydreaming about other things? But when you're in that area and you're thinking about like Agent 47, one thing that comes up a lot of times is like, how much feedback do you have on the game? Is there any particular level or location in the world you would love to tell the developers that you want Agent 47 to explore, like to go to?
And that's a good one. Well, as I say, not to go to a cruise ship or something.
You know where not to go.
Thank you. I love tropical destinations.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's probably why I love Sapienza so much, because you could almost smell the heat off the walls, and I mean. Well, but Paris was brilliant. That was totally late summer Paris. They got it spot on. But anyway, I'd like something tropical, and bring on the challenge. I like some deep sea fishing accident or some diving.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Get underwater and kill some guy.
Exactly.
Something. Yeah, but it kind of like this James Bond sets, like from whatever, Dr. No, go to Jamaica, just Tahiti.
Yeah,
bring it on. I don't know. Maybe they're too limiting.
Mm-hmm.
Is my suspicion that beyond the kind of the waving palm tree and the waves crashing on the beach, what can you do? I mean, at least they got the whole thing with the cave going for Sapienza. But I that's my kind of, find me a nice, fantastic tropical destination.
Somewhere warm for the joints. When looking at Sapienza, there's Paris, there's a couple other levels in 2016 that I really liked. But did you get a chance to really walk around in those games? I first of all, are you a gamer other than Hitman?
Not anymore, pretty much. I follow the game. Yeah, I'm literally too busy, and I wish I could clone myself, because nothing would give me more pleasure than to go to my studio, which is around the corner from where I live.
Yeah.
Lock the door and stay there with, and just game myself into oblivion.
Right.
I just don't have the time. I used to, but now life's got a hold of me, and it's shaking me like a rag doll. So it's good.
Which is good, yeah.
I'm very privileged, and I love what I do and do what I love. But yeah, I don't have the time. What I do is I try and follow as much as I can on the internet, what's happening. I've even applied for a BAFTA Games membership, because I really want to submerge myself in this whole industry, because I think it's the future. I mean, I'm putting it mildly now, but as late as this evening, it's evening out for us on the main news channel. I've recorded the program. I'm going to see it when I've finished here. There's a big half an hour program on computer game industry.
Oh, wow.
The news, they're just going, okay, this is very serious. And I still remember about, I guess it's about 10 years ago now. It's 8 to 10 years ago. The first story on the main news channel in Denmark was not Third World War in the Middle East or wherever. It was computer games are the biggest form of entertainment on the world. That was then. Yeah. I remember going, I was a bit shocked as well as impressed. I was going, come on, there's people dying in the world. There's what's going on in wherever. But it was such a big deal that it had sort of come to the attention of the media that they ran with this as the number one story. And it's by far the most important form of entertainment and going on the planet. So yeah, I just think this is where I want to be part of. And I don't get to pick, and I get to at least look at things.
Yeah. I had watched your interview in 2015, I believe, where you had said that your advice for other voice actors is to get out there more and promote yourself more. And you had an issue. I think you admitted in that interview, you're like, I need to do it myself, and I don't do it as much. So have you taken your own advice to heart in the last?
Yeah, I have, and I've hired a PR agent in Vegas. As we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. And Greg is kind of swinging my bat in my corner for me, because I don't have that kind of access to the people I need to see, or the people I need to. As much work as I've got, as I say, I don't know how I'll clone myself to do more. But I want to do more,
right?
And I want to get out there, and for that I need to get myself a really heavy hitter voice agent.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm after.
My hope is that you can be a bad guy in an Assassin's Creed game. That was one of the patrons was like, that's what I want to see. I want to see David be just because
that'd be fun.
Oh, dude, you would find.
I think that would be
that would be a blast.
Have you seen the film? I haven't seen the film.
Hitman?
No, the Assassin's Creed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant. I was like, you haven't seen. I did watch it, and the less said, the better.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. Just saved me a ticket. I thought as much.
But, you know, when it comes to voice actors, like, you know, your name does come up. It's funny because I've gone to PAX a couple times and different events and met voice actors there. And we've talked about, you've just come up in random conversations. And I had actually asked, prior to seeing your interview, I'd actually asked another voice actor, I'm like, do you ever see David? Like, why is he not in like 10 other fucking games? Like, not to be rude, but you have a pretty cool voice, dude. So like, it's strange. Who did the old? There was an actor who did the old 7-Up commercials. African American actor. Oh, I can't remember his name, but he had just an incredible voice. And I remember when they were discussing him, he was only known for that one thing. And my hope is that we can see you be known for. I mean, Agent 47's awesome, but it would be great to see you known for, being a bad guy.
Yeah, well, yeah, bring it on. Yeah. But I mean, yeah. I am up for it, but it would have to be something really big because I'm married to Agent 47.
Yeah, well, that's for sure.
He'll come after me, you know.
Yeah, so we were talking about the Jason Statham thing, the joke about the transporter. Have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't. But I asked a couple of friends of mine when I got your questions, and they're going, "Yeah, you got to see it, man. It's so obvious."
It is obvious, and it was just a joke that came up. Another question is what gets you up in the morning outside of Agent 47? Like, what's your passion? Do you some people say that they cook, some people do music. What's your thing?
The silence of the morning. My kids get me up in the morning, or rather, I get up because I get the family up.
Oh, gotcha.
It's very kind of domestic. I mean, and I love that kind of quiet routine. I just set the breakfast table and get things going and then go around and wake up.
Does that help ground you a little bit?
Yeah, it really kind of it centers me. It just I mean, I was a kind of a late starter in every way you could imagine. I just kind of stumbled around through life going and having a great time, which is fine, because as long as you're having a great time, it's fine to go and go. But and then I found a good woman and got 3 great kids. So that rings my bell for me. But outside of that, if you want to get me up early in the morning,
I think I know what you're going to say. Go for it.
Absolute passion is surfing.
I saw it on your Skype. It says, I wish I was surfing. So
you know what? I'll never take. Hey, I've surfed since I was 14.
Oh wow.
I'm crap as hell now. But I was pretty good. And I just know I go. We go down to southwest France, down to Hossegor, Capbreton, just north of Biarritz, down the corner there, and the bottom of Bay of Biscay in northern Spain. And don't tell anyone, they mustn't go there because it's crowded enough. No, and we just, that's just because there's nearly 300 kilometers of beach and brilliant waves. So and now I got my kids, they all surf. So
really very cool.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I'd start that brainwash thing as soon as they could carry a board. And my plans worked because now they love it. So, but it's still, it's not enough. I ended up in Scandinavia. I must have got off the wrong plane.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's I love this part of the world. It's just, the surf's pretty cold, pretty crap most of the time.
And you do your voice acting for Agent 47 in Colorado, is that what you said?
No, I do it here.
Gotcha. So you have your own studio and you do it there?
No, I don't even do it at my studio. I do it IO Interactive in town.
Oh, gotcha.
They have their own studio set up. Well, we have until Absolution, up to Absolution, we've done it in studios they've rented, where I remember the kind of security is really weird because I'm kind of, they know who I am.
Right, yeah.
I'm Agent 47. I look like the guy, sound like the guy. So they had this dilemma again. We've got this locked studio, it's totally hush-hush. Okay, how many people am I going to walk past as I walk into the studio? And they go, hi, where you going? Nowhere. And then, to this knocking thing on the door, hey, come on in. Did anyone follow you? No, but I think they know what's going on in the room.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't hide that, can you?
I look like the guy. It's a giveaway. So now there's a lot of now they have their own place and it's cool. I can go there. I don't have to creep in.
And it's very cool that you don't have to travel. That is one thing, especially Skype.
I love traveling though. I personally I love traveling, but I wouldn't want to go away for longer periods of time. And I don't think that's as fun as it sounds.
Right. Yeah. The hotel life probably isn't very fun.
No, not really. No, bottom line. No.
Well, I want to thank you, man. It's been an absolute pleasure, dude. It's hilarious to think that it's been 15 friggin' years. I'm just blown away. I'm blown away. And your longevity at that character, I know that there was some, and this is on the wiki, but I know there was some issues with the possibility of you not doing, which game was it at the time? One of the games.
I got dropped. I was dropped from Absolution.
Yeah, and
then rehired.
Yeah.
Pretty much thank fans, I believe. But, that was extraordinary. Yeah, and that's the way it was. It was a business decision. We want to go in a new direction. How many times have I heard that sentence before?
Splinter Cell, Michael Ironside, one of the. I mean,
oh my God.
Oh my God, David! You and Michael Ironside as bad guys in Assassin's Creed. I'm just joking.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. I like that.
But yeah, what were they thinking? I mean, sometimes you have to look at, I mean, maybe it was money, whatever. But I know that originally he said, and you said that you've done recently some face digitalization with Michael. I think they said that they wanted him to do the physical stuff. But he was too, he's an older gentleman, so it was a little difficult, and they dropped him. But it's Michael Ironside. Figure it out.
I don't get that. I just simply don't understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get some young stuntmen to do all the crazy stuff, and just you want him for his voice,
Yeah. It was a very odd situation. But I got to say, man, 15 years in the industry in the same character role is pretty rare, especially to see that many titles do that well, because there hasn't been a Hitman title that hasn't done well, and I gotta applaud you, man, because
that's I applaud the makers, and they've not done a dud. Some have been better received than others. There's been a lot of attention of which has done the best, but they've all been well received,
right?
And they keep doing it. So if that puts more pressure, they got to keep raising the bar. Or what do we do next? Oh shit! Well, let's not don't do David's suggestions.
Yeah, don't listen to him. He knows nothing.
We're not going there.
Just pay for him to go surfing and pay for his kids with him. Just keep him busy. Don't listen to David, whatever he suggests.
I really can't wait to get stuck into season 2. And I haven't spoken to the guys recently, but I'm going the next week, I think.
Oh, gotcha.
Just as a social call. Yeah. I haven't. They moved offices, and I've not seen it yet. I couldn't make the Christmas party because I was doing theater in the evenings.
Oh well, congratulations on that.
Yeah, that's cool. It's nice. It's a good gig. I've got going every winter. But so I haven't even seen their new place. So I'm going to go and just have that beer with them.
Yeah.
And say, guys, when do we start?
Yeah. Let's move on to year 16 and. See how long you guys can go. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, David, man. It's been awesome. I respect you in so many ways, and your positivity towards like fans and towards the situations is, I mean, something that's actually talked about amongst people who, developers and other voice actors. It's something that continually pops up, and it is an absolute pleasure to talk to you and get you to. Basically admit that you haven't seen Transporter, which I'm completely blown away. Do you get to watch a lot of movies? Nowhere near. I used to see 3 movies a week. Oh, gotcha.
It was like I just lived in and people used to look at me because I'd go in and see them by myself. I didn't, they weren't.
Who's that weirdo?
Yeah, I know. Seriously, I didn't think I was weird. I've done 3 movies a week forever, but no. Shit, man. I think I got the world premiere of Rogue One. We were told in Copenhagen it was 10 o'clock in the morning on it, whatever it was. But no, I catch him on Netflix or a streaming channel. I pay for my movies.
Exactly. Got to admit that.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm really fascist about that in our house. But no, I sort of shit. No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
but I will now. I will now.
Yeah, I want you to see it, and then I'll email you and find out what you think, because it's one of those moments where you see something and you're like,
well, way back when he was being considered,
he was
for the first Hitman film, at least.
I think. What do you think of Timothy Olyphant's delivery of that character?
I think he's a good actor, but I think he looked a bit lost.
Yeah, he did.
I think he's got this great young face, and when you took away his hairline, he looked about 12.
Baby Hitman?
Yeah, I just thought, like, does your mommy know where you are?
Right.
It just, he did it as best as he could, but it didn't work. Funnily enough, the second Hitman worked better for me, because I think he's a really cool actor.
Oh, yeah. I forgot there was even a second movie. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know his name.
And the guy. He fit physically a little better. I know that with the way you move, your character moves in the game is different than Timothy Olyphant has a very unique walk too. And I remember he doesn't move his shoulders a lot. There's just a particular look about him. And I remember in the movie going, that doesn't. Like there's little aspects of him that doesn't meet. And the second movie, you're right, he actually does just a little bit better.
Yeah, and he felt like he was just more dangerous. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Maybe I got brainwashed with him with watching Homeland, the whole series.
Oh, you're a big Homeland fan?
Big time, love it. I'm going to go watch it now, actually.
Well, everybody, okay. I will post down links for David, all of David's websites, anything that he wants me to post. You'll see it in the description. I will make sure to spread this around to everybody. Thank you, David, for stopping by. If you want to stick around 1 second, David, before I let you go. Everybody else, thanks for watching. Peace out.